everyone, Hannah, brand manager from Vision Care Connect here. Due to the recent global pandemic that has been affecting businesses and practices all over our world, a lot of people are having to go through rebranding periods because so many things about each organization are changing. We've been forced to go digitally, we can't connect with our patients and our clients in the same way, and it's affecting everything. So with that being the case, we wanted to go over a little bit about the brand standards and branding basics that every organization should focus on, identify, and establish before you relaunch who you are as a company. And that way, people will associate your new brand with the new version of your company. And it won't be an outdated representation of who you are. So with that being said, the 4 keys to the brand basics that you need to establish are your fonts, your colors, your brand voice, and your logos. So your logos are going to be the key thing that should not change once it's established. It can evolve over time, but it should always have that core thing that is recognizable for your audience. So your logo needs to be versatile, it needs to be legible, and it needs to stand out and be unique to you. Whether they're seeing that logo on a billboard or on a corner of their video, you want it to stand out and them think, oh, so-and-so company, that's Vision Care Connect green, and that's the Vision Care Connect logo. And whether they actually think that in their head, you just want that little light bulb to go off so that they know in the back of their head that brand recognition. So that is the core one that shouldn't change and that should be consistent everywhere. But there should also be consistency in the other 3 topics, and those are your colors. For instance, you can have core colors. For example, we have the white, the green, and then the light green. But we also have on the side about 4 or 5 colors that we can play with on our social media and in our videos and those sorts of things. And that's where we get to get creative and we don't get too stale or boring. But those standard 3 colors are what stays consistent in anything that goes on our site and our logo. So those are the things that people will not recognize. So that's what you're striving for with your logo, is to make sure that it and your colors seamlessly flow together and create that brand recognition. The most important thing, I believe, that is so underrated when it comes to organizations identifying is your brand voice. Your brand voice needs to be fluid throughout your social media, to who's answering your phones, to your doctors, to your CEOs. You should not have patients that fall in love with your brand and they think you're this and this and this when they're on your social media, on your Facebook or your Instagram, and then they call in to schedule an appointment and they're disappointed by the receptionist that answers or their experience with the doctor because you weren't who they thought they were. So making sure that you have a fluid brand voice initially comes from your entire organization, employees from top to bottom, knowing your vision, your purpose, and your mission for your organization. When everyone is on the same page with those things, your voice just kind of flows and everyone comes off the same way. That is what turns people from consumers to brand advocates that will help push your brand to the next level. And then finally, there's your fonts. And your fonts are important because your font should reflect who you are. And whether that be just the font of your logo, you should also have some fonts that you can play with for ads or social media graphics or your site. But at the same time, although you should be creative with those and have a few that you can play off of, they need to stay within the guardrails of who you are as an organization. If all of a sudden Vision Care Connect had a princess cursive font that didn't make any sense with our brand, people would be confused and our consumers would see an inconsistency in who we are, and that's the last thing we want. So make sure when you're going through a rebranding period that you first establish and identify your colors, your fonts, your voice, and your logos. And then once you have those set, you can start building that brand recognition and working to build brand advocates.